Okay, if you understand these concepts, if you can grasp, I'm calling them the laws of scalp micropigmentation, you will be equipped with the information to make the best decision for you, whether or not you want to get scalp micropigmentation and how to choose the best artist for you. Okay, first one up is the mood ring effect, we call it. All right, essentially what we're saying is my treatment, your treatment is going to look different, completely different based on the light setting. Now, I see a lot of guys making a decision. They want to go dark, dark, dark as you can possibly go based on the light setting that they're watching. But I urge you to consider, make sure you think about what your treatment will look like at the beach, at the amusement park, at work, in a restaurant, in all light settings. And you got to find that middle ground. Essentially, if you go so dark that you can see it in all light settings, in a very bright and well lit light setting, you're going to be the guy with ink on his hair. And of course, the other side is if you don't go dark enough, then you're going to be as bald as you did before you started treatment. So finding that middle ground based on your preference, it's a good conversation to have with your artist, the mood ring effect. Okay, number two is dot size. Pretty straightforward, but very important. Essentially, the impressions that an artist is making on your head, you want to be the exact same size as a shaved hair follicle, no bigger. I know there's a lot of rhetoric that they're bigger initially and they'll shrivel, they'll shrink as time goes on. I don't think that's accurate. So make sure you check out the dot size. Of course, the needle size is going to be connected with this. It's not 2020 anymore. There's too many needles to use to make a perfect impression for all of us artists out there. So definitely check out the size of the impressions. Okay, number three, depth and ink saturation. Now, this one might be a little more confusing for a consumer out there if you don't do this for a living, but essentially is there is a small window, I'm talking the thickness of a dime in most cases, where if you go a little bit too deep, a shadow forms around the impression. And I don't have to convince anybody how unnatural a shadow around impressions looks. So the depth is vitally important. It's a major reason why we do multiple sessions to get the final result, but definitely something to check out, the depth and ink saturation. Okay, number four, we're calling it fresh versus healed results. This is something we've mentioned many times over on our page if you've seen this before, but worth repeating. Definitely a topic to explore. Healed versus fresh, you're talking about two completely opposite looking results. Okay, so really important to understand. And when you're doing your research, when you're checking out portfolios, make sure you're judging based off of healed results, because those fresh ones, they can trick you. Okay, and lastly, we have soft versus flat hairlines. Okay, and what we're talking about here, we're not talking about the shape. You choose your preference, what you like. If you want something, straight up or a little more age appropriate, little curve or widow's peak, whatever your flavor is. What I'm talking about is, as the illustration depicts, if an artist is to just trace that line, whatever hairline you guys choose, it's going to look flat. We have to, as artists, throw some impressions outside of that line in order to give a more natural desired look. Because keep in mind, this is two-dimensional. It's not 3D like real hair. And so it's hard to kind of have that soft beginning. So I've been doing this for years. This is a big part of scalp micropigmentation evolution. Those soft hairlines only came around a few years ago, but definitely something I would urge if your desire is to have a natural look, which I think most guys want to have a natural result. Definitely look for a soft. And again, I'm talking about even those straight edge ups. Same thing applies. If an artist does a couple of impressions outside of that, you still have that edge up. It just looks more natural. It doesn't look like you just got stamped on at a factory.